This is Pastor Tom speaking to you as we prepare to celebrate the visitation of the Magi, one of those great stories we hear at Christmas about three wise men who come to see a tiny babe in a manger. Wise men from a foreign land who want to see this newborn king, who want to experience God's grace. But there's a part of the story that we somehow skip over each year. While we see the majesty of the handsomely adorned wise men coming to see the baby Jesus, the Christ child, there's a line in the text that's very interesting. It said, when they had prayed and worshiped the baby Jesus, they took another route home to avoid King Herod. Now that to me says something about what we are called to do as followers of Jesus Christ, as recipients of the gift of Christmas. You know, many years ago, a book appeared called The Road Less Traveled. And while it did have some spiritual intent, it was not really a theological text, but it does give us a good idea that if we truly accept the gift of Christmas, we will take a road less traveled home. Now, what do I mean by a road less traveled? I don't mean a road that is full of signposts that say, do this, don't do that. Turn here, don't go there. Don't stop for this person, don't stop for that person. Oh, here's someone you can stop for. That's not the road we take. What if this year, as we are returning home from the feast of Christmas, what if we allowed the gift of Christmas to direct our path? What if we allowed the gift of Christmas to cause us to truly trust in the promises that God has already made? That God would not abandon us, that God would grant us strength in the midst of turmoil, that God would become one of us and experience everything we've experienced. What if that knowledge and that idea and that wisdom guided us? And what if we were truly a people of joy? How would that road lead us home? Would it cause us to stand up against those allies of death and despair, such as hate and injustice and prejudice and isolation and marginalization and greed? Could we travel that road to take another route home? You see, the Magi wanted to avoid Herod. But in truth, they were walking away from the evil, the brokenness, the tyranny of the world that had been made by human hands. Because now, although they brought gifts to the newborn Christ child of gold, of frankincense and myrrh, gifts symbolic of knowing that Jesus would be king and priest and suffering servant, but they also received that gift of Christmas, that God was present. Their lives would never be the same as they returned home. They would take a new way home. And so my message to you on this feast of Epiphany is, let's think this year about taking a new way home after the celebration of Christmas. And let our guide be the gift of Christmas that today must live in each of our hearts. Amen.